When you had received 2 physicals from the Department of Defense, you knew you were going to be drafted very soon. And at that time, I was also a copy boy at the New York Daily News. And in the evening, when we weren't busy, we would go look at the newswire, and we would watch the casualties flow endlessly over the wire. And we would look for names that might be familiar to us. And at some point, I envisioned my name being on that list too, and decided, well, if I joined the Air Force, I might have a better chance at surviving at some base in the world somewhere than in a swamp in Vietnam. So I joined, went to basic training in Lackland Air Force, and then for additional training for the medics at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls. I was in medical supply. The euphemistic name they had for that was medical materiel specialist. And by then I was less than ambivalent about the war, less than ambivalent about being in the military. I was not happy at all. I was kind of caught up in the 60s radicalism, and many of my cohorts were in the same boat. None of us really wanted to be there. So, the bottom line is I joined the Air Force to avoid service in Vietnam. So after 2.5 years at Bergstrom, I got orders to go overseas. I kept reading, and it said, Republic of China, Taiwan, Formosa. Oh, that's not so bad. I can deal with that. My experience over there was on a level par with MASH, the TV series MASH, on steroids. And there's a lot of things I don't want to talk about. But one thing that did happen while I was there that I will talk about, it changed my life. I had a very negative view of myself before then. And because of my experiences there, all that seemed to wash away. And I was ready to go back to school. And so when I was discharged after my 4-year enlistment, I went back to school with single-minded determination and got a bachelor's in journalism because that was my first love. And then I got a master's in history, and then I got a PhD in history from Tulane.
That's fantastic that you got all of that education and you were driven to keep getting more. And did the GI Bill pay for most of your education?
Most of it, yes, that's correct.
And now here you are.
I'm still in school, working on a Master of Social Work. And my population that I want to work with is the elderly. And the way I wound up in hospice was when I signed up for a placement. The only place I could go to work with the elderly was hospice. I'm loving every minute of it, and I think maybe beyond this, after I graduate, I might continue to work in hospice.
And I hope that you and I have a long future working here together at Hospice Atlanta Center. Well, maybe you'll end up working here.
At least you may, maybe beyond. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Okay, and thank you very much for interviewing me.
Thank you.